my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, we are going back to 1979. It's a Patreon pick, one of our newest patrons, Greg, so thanks for picking this one, mate. It's a film that I've never seen, but I have seen loads of clips out of it now that I've watched it, Dave. So we are going to be covering the 1979 film set in the Bronx in the 60s, in 1963. This one's The Wanderers, Dave. So had you heard of this, seen clips of it, or is anything sort of to reminisce about now that you've watched it?
No, I mean, I've never heard of this one. And I didn't know the connection. I mean, this apparently 1979 was like the year of the gang movie. You know, you had a whole bunch of them. We've done one of the other ones, which was The Warriors. But yeah, just no frame of reference for this one. And I don't know, as a kid, the only nostalgic thing I can think back to is my mum absolutely loved West Side Story.
I did.
Well, I did not. I just remember it seemed to be on all the fucking time. And then, you know, you're a kid and I'm like playing with Star Wars figures or something like that. And then I remember trying to sit and watch a bit. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're really tough. And then they do a little dance. And it's like, even as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's just ridiculous. If you're gonna have a scrap, have a fucking scrap. Don't do like this weird dance-off thing. And I didn't get it in my young brain. But yeah, the style of this, it's all very similar, isn't it? I mean, this is set in 1963. But if I hadn't read that up, I would have thought it was the 50s. You've got this weird blend in terms of, you know, the early 60s do feel a bit more like what we associate 50s things as being. And so, yeah, it sort of takes me back to that time. And what I'd say is the other thing that it reminds me of, the music in this, I'm going to put it straight out there, it's outstanding. And it reminds me of being a kid. My dad was well into his music and play all kinds of stuff, you know, not just contemporary, what would have been like 80s stuff for me, but, you know, he'd play all the golden oldies and a lot of the songs in here I'd recognise from that. And that it made me think, well, actually, for me, like the 50s and the 60s would have been to my dad what the 80s were for me. And so, you know, for him, listening to that sort of music would have been like his bit of nostalgia. So yeah, lots of different feelings watching this one, but very interesting pick. And dare I say it, Chris, quite refreshing in the year of the stitch up. But I mean, how about yourself? Does it take you back to anything?
Well, I think when we did The Warriors, like I said to you, Sam's brother, and it's before us with Sam, this, obviously been friends with her brother for years, when we were sort of 17, 18, I remember him saying to me, and I said, "We should The Warriors. So have you seen The Warriors?" I was like, "No, I got a fucking clue." And then her other brother was like, "It's what film?" But they were a couple of years older than me. So obviously 79, I was born in 78. So it's missed me. By the time it's come on VHS or Betamax, you know, it's probably at the back somewhere in the video shops because it's classed as an old movie. It's probably been shown on BBC 2 or Channel 4 at the time because it would have been classed as maybe a 15, so I never would have come across that. You know, it's only like the late 80s when I was told the story about Lethal Weapon and that, so I never would have even seen this. But you're right, West Side Story, I did like a musical, Dave. You know, Singing in the Rain is my favourite. I've watched it continually on a loop, like in school. I'd watch something like The $6 Million Man, then it'd be Singing in the Rain, but West Side Story. I've watched them all. South Pacific, mainly with my nans, that they loved all that, but it sort of got me into them sort of musicals when I was a kid. as I got older, Dave, I'm just pure macho, martial arts and that. I don't watch musicals and that, Dave. But
all I can think, right, is like the playground talk. It's like, oh, what's this? Stayed off school the other day, watched Driller Killer, and then, oh, what did you watch, Chris? Singing in the Rain.
Well, no, I remember it on a Monday. Right? So, on a Monday, it would be, if it was raining at school and we had a massive like stack of Beano and Dandy like comics, I'd read them, and then a bit get to like wet play, and I think, I can't play football. I want to go home. So I just gone, not well, and they'd let me go home. So when you're in like the year 7, as it is now, was that like 4th year for us, Dave, when we were
I ain't got a clue.
In juniors or whatever it was. But I remember sort of like just going home and so I used to watch Singing in the Rain, fucking Knots Landing, Dave, or the Rockford Files on BBC, Henry Kelly going for gold, and then it was
nice,
so bad. That was on a Monday. I'd never forget it. No, that was later on, Dave. Bit too into that. I was more into me like me Blue Peter or Record Breakers, which I believe's coming back. I've been told, Dave, Record Breakers are coming back. But
Blue Peter, there was another one that just irritated me.
Yeah, you know what? Last night I walked through the Blue Peter Garden because it's right near the Lowry when I was going to Old Trafford. That's where it is now. We've got the names lit up, Dave. Chris Phelps isn't on there as one of the Blue Peter icons, like the Hollywood Boulevard ones.
I believe it's still going.
Yeah, I can't. It's probably an online thing now. But yeah, I just remember like never would have come across something like this. But in the age of like YouTube shorts, TikToks, I've come across scenes in this movie, especially the first big fight with like that Perry and the bald guy. I've seen like, so many times with the gang around him. So not correlating what the movie was or anything, but just come across the odd scene. So yeah, never seen it, never even heard of it. And then I was quite interesting, like you say, I then went down the rabbit hole of it's the year of like sort of gang movie 79, and being the Warriors being a bit of a classic and stuff, and that's probably my first introduction to these sort of movies. I'm sort of like thinking, yeah, there's a few others that I've missed in this year. But yeah, I'm with you. I think, like, not ruining it, but the music's brilliant in this. So yeah, I think the setting, everything, interesting movie as well, and just completely took me off guard, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, you say the bald guy, obviously he was in Stir Crazy, which is where my mind goes to straight away. But of course, more famously, probably, he was Dynamo in The Running Man.
Oh, is that him? Oh,
yeah.
No. Oh, gee, I didn't think of that. Yeah, it is him as well. You're right.
Actually, he did a bit of the opera back in the day, I think, in real life. And so, when he's singing in The Running Man, I'm guessing that was probably his actual voice there.
Yeah, I think it probably was. Yeah, no, that's mad. That I didn't even correlate the two. But yeah, it's weird. A very strange film, this one.
Yeah.
Never even heard of.
Well, shall we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
Back in '63, there was one kind of music.
Yeah, all right, some rock and roll.
One kind of love.
No, not yet. In a couple minutes we're gonna be naked, then what?
We gotta get him in the hospital!
And all kinds of gangs.
If you ever need us, just whistle loud. We'll be there.
I'm in love! Look at that!
Teenage trouble. The terrors of their turf.
No, respect!
They were the Fordham Baldies.
I got a urge tonight.
All right, let's stomp some ass!
The Dell Bombers. The Wongs.
What do we do, Joey? What do we do?
Nothing, they just started chasing me.
And then there were the Wanderers.
Leave the kid alone.
Gotcha.
A legend in their time. The Wanderers. It was their world.
You guys don't know where you're living. You're talking last year. We ain't going with you without these. Then you ain't going with us.
Their rules.
Nice knowing you guys.
Wanda's forever, right, Joey?
Let's go!
It was their time, but time was running out.
Hey, buddy! Somebody's in trouble!
The Wanderers. Too crazy to run. Too proud to hide.
I don't want to see you run. Are you understand?
Too good to lose.
Wanda's forever.
The Wanderers are coming,
Not yet.
and you'll never forget them.
Joey and Turkey belong to the Wanderers, an Italian-American greaser gang in the Bronx. When Turkey considers joining a rival gang, the Fordham Baldies, Joey tries to stop him. However, Tara's girlfriend, Pee-wee, overhears Joey insulting the Baldies, calling them a bunch of pricks with ears. The Baldies chase Joey and Turkey, who flee for safety. Richie, the Wanderers' leader, and Buddy try to help but end up running too. Just as the gang is cornered, a tough newcomer named Perry, recently arrived from New Jersey, steps in to save them. After some convincing, Perry joins the Wanderers. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, I must admit, Dave, it caught me off guard. I said it before the trailer, but yeah, I think the setting's great. The fight at the start with Perry, like this guy, he's got the proper... He's basically... This movie is just Fonzarelli, but he's like 18, isn't he? I mean, I did say it's Fonzarelli with breasts, Dave, but that's been correct if you can imagine what it is. My name is today on our streaming site. But yeah, he is just like the Fonz, really. So he comes in and he's bigger. He's physically bigger than all of these guys, the Baldies. I mean... I watched, I don't know if you've seen it, Dave. I know the overlap with Gary Neville and that at the moment. I'm getting sick myself of listening to United stories and re-girdling the same shit. But Duncan Ferguson was on it, and that's a good watch if you get a chance, because he gets sent off for calling the ref a Baldy, and he keeps saying Baldy through it, Duncan Ferguson. I'm like, that's like a Scottish thing, isn't it, Baldy? Like, they do say Baldy a lot, but he's saying it a lot, and now his team was tickling me yesterday when I was watching it. We're like, listening to the Baldies, but... What's weird though, Dave, about the Baldies, and I'm going all in here on, the guy out of Running Man there, the fucking Chubby, he's called Chubby in this, is why has he got all these young guys around him, these young kids?
Terror.
Terror. Yeah, that's him as well, Dave, Terror. But why has he got all these fucking strange, it's just weird, isn't it? He's like about 35.
Gang members?
Yeah, he's like 35, and then he's got the fucking... Yeah, I'm not buying that at all. But then we do get the whole ripping the fence off thing and everything, don't we? Like he's super strong. I don't know. I do like the fight when Perry just starts taking names, because he's just physically bigger, isn't he, than all of them. He's like a giant. But then Terror, not Chubby, Dave. Chubby's one of the mafia guys. Sorry about that, everyone. Terror just stares at him down the ginnel. You're thinking, we're going to get a big fucking showdown here. Maybe Terror's going to leather Perry, but they just sort of walk off, don't they? But yeah, it's bizarre. I did get anxiety though, as the Baldies are chasing them at the start. I kept thinking they're going to grab on their legs, because one of them was a bit slower than the other. The one with the bald head was slower, wasn't he? So I think it starts pretty strong. And don't do what I do, Dave. Find a copy of it on YouTube and realise, because I knew they were Italian Americans, that I watched the first 5 minutes in fucking Italian, because it was an Italian version. And then I got the proper version from Amazon. But anyway, so. Yeah, I think it's strong. I really think it's a strong start to the movie, and it sets it up, and it has got that West Side feel to it, though, 100%. West Side Story, sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd skipped over at the start, but it almost starts off like Porky's, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The guy's trying to get his end away, and then we sort of cut to Joey and Turkey, and that whole weirdness. And Turkey's like... bit of an odd one, isn't he? Because he's sort of part of the Wanderers, but he's got his shaved head and everything, so kind of wants to be part of the Baldies. I agree. The thing with Terror and his girl, like you say, he looks about 35 or something, and Pee-wee, I'm like, how how old are you? Is all very strange. And you say about when Perry comes in to join the fight, like you say, he's just physically fucking massive. I did recognize him. I think he was in Porky's too, but that fucking solid frame. I do think the fighting was a bit shit, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
The actual fight choreography was like a high school play or something, just not really that convincing. However, I fucking loved the whole aesthetic of it. And, this idea, the Warriors takes it to another level. It almost takes it into comic book territory, doesn't it? With the baseball furies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost comic book stuff. Whereas this is more kind of grounded, but it looks great. Everyone can identify themselves with these cool looking jackets and whatever. And that fight scene, and then the bit of a standoff, and you've got the music in the background and everything as well. It's like there was a bit of it that made me think, this almost feels Tarantino-like. There's one of the songs, I'll find it where it's written down, but it's the song when Butch goes in to get the samurai sword in Pulp Fiction. So Bruce Willis.
Fucking hell, yeah.
It's the same fucking music that's playing, and actually the all the music is great in this, but it's almost like a cross between Dirty Dancing and a Tarantino movie. In terms of the music choices. So yeah, I really, straight from the off, I thought, oh, I'm in here. And not as these lads when they thought, I'm in here. That was in a different way. But no, I was genuinely bought in, and I started it late at night on a school night as well. I thought, you know what, I'll watch half of this. It's a 70s movie. I know what I'm getting with 70s movies. It's gonna be a little bit slower in terms of pace and everything. I'll watch the second half tomorrow. But no, it just powered all the way through. It was it really gripped me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be difficult not to sort of think it, but I think Greg's picked a great movie, to be honest. One that I've not. I know if I'd watched this as a kid, I'd have loved this. I'm saying about West Side Story.
Yeah.
This is probably what I wanted West Side Story to be. Not because the whistling thing, when they whistle for at the start, and then Richie, he's trying to, dip his bread in sort of thing, and then he's like, I've gotta go. And I'm thinking, did he finish? What's going on? What's happened there? The noises were a bit off, but he has to help them, and that's like West Side Story because they're clicking and whistling. The gangs, the Sharks and the Jets, there's bits in it.
I can see it in my mind.
You can see a guy, the guy with the quiff.
Let's have a fucking scrap. Yeah. It's fucking tough streets of New York. And I can just see them fucking with their sideways walking, clicking their fucking fingers. You bunch of bellends.
I remember, when I got with Sam and that, and I remember standing at a fucking lamppost going, I've just met a girl named Sam, not Maria. I'm fucking nonsense in it all. Like, it is fucking terrible. We tried to watch the new one that come out a couple of years ago. We put it on and I went, I'm not watching this fucking shit.
Was it not good, was it?
Oh, it's fucking, it got reviewed well. It's fucking rubbish. They're on like a knockdown, how's he been knocked down? And there's like a fucking crane and a JCB and it's fucking rubbish. And I'm like, I'm not watching this shit. It's just not for me. When we went to watch, The Wizard of Oz. What's it called at Christmas?
Pantomime?
The show I went to watch, the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Wicked. And we went to the Opera House, and I'm not into that sort of stuff. And Sam wanted to go with a woman now. And luckily, she doesn't listen to his podcast, Dave, so I can say this. And Jordan sat next to me, and I was the designated driver, drove us into Manchester and all that. And within 2 minutes, everyone's just fucking going over the top, whoa, and all this fucking shit, and all, fucking doing like the Wizard of Oz stuff and that, and all this skirt round it. And I'm just like, Jordan side-eyed me. And the night before, we were at Old Trafford watching United, which is usually a better fucking soap opera, if I've seen my social media. That's more drama than anything. And me and Jordan are lucky. So when Jordan's not out, she's like me, unfortunately. She's a mirror of me. She's a gamer. She's into football. She loves football. Formula One's her thing that I've sort of got into. But she's not, you know, you clash as a stereotypical girl. And she's just looking at me just to say, cheers, Dad. I could have been sat at home on my Xbox here, and I've now got to sit here for 2 hours while these people are just dicking around on the stage. Now, don't get me wrong, there was bits of it was good, but I was just like, this isn't my thing. And I think that, going back to that now, I don't think I could watch that. I watched Singing in the Rain, definitely, because I know literally every scene of that was watched so many times as a kid, but I don't think I'd watch the original West Side Story. Even though as a kid, I loved it. But yeah, going back to that, to this is probably like the version I really probably wanted from West Side as I got older. I'd love this when I was 9-10 years old, because it's just the gang thing, and there is a bit of despair in there, because really there's not really any members of the Wanderers. Great fucking jackets, by the way. Brilliant.
Oh,
you know,
cool. Iconic.
If you went to like a fancy dress and people go dressed as like, you know, Grease and that, and you get the odd one I've seen dressed as the Warriors, but the Wanderers would be a hell of a pick if you could pull one of them out the back. It'll be really interesting outfits and that. But again, it's of its time, Dave, because there's a lot of racial stuff in this movie as well that doesn't sit very well in there. There is the Bell Bombers and the way, and that's even some of the Wanderers,
the Wongs.
Yeah, exactly. The classroom scene, it doesn't sit very well. I know it's 1979 and it's nearly 50 years ago, but when you're watching stuff like that now, it's like, you know, the whole world in some way or form was just subliminal racism. Even when they tackle it, I know in the movie they're trying to make people aware, but like the name of the gangs and everything, it's just like it's that bit, and that's not me trying to be politically correct. It's just fucking wrong, isn't it? You're watching it now going, oh, that does not sit well. That won't be on ITV fucking anytime soon. This movie, it will be with a warning, you know, like it was made of its time, sort of thing, which is the excuse to use now. But yeah, there is some really like cutting dialogue in this, definitely.
Yeah, and I will come back to that, but the song I was trying to think of before was Pipeline by the Chantnays.
Oh, God, yes.
So I'm going to play a little bit for you, but then we'll get a copyright strike on YouTube. But you'll know it as soon as it kicks in.
Yeah. Straight away, I know it straight away. Yeah.
But no, I just couldn't remember what it was called. That classroom scene. I mean, there's an episode of The American Office where, I mean, if you watch, I know it's gone on for seasons and seasons, and everyone tells me how it's great and it's its own thing after a while, but I just find it so daunting. And I've watched a few episodes here and there across different seasons and whatever, and it's just never quite grabbed me like the UK Office did. But I think it's about the third episode in the first season or something. That's when they really go off from the script on the UK Office, and then they do a diversity day. And then the lead character, I think it's a really good idea that everyone should, you know, basically stereotype, you know, or imitate stereotypes. And it's like, holy shit. And you can see, you know, in this character's head, and he is based on Brent's, but he's thinking this is a really good idea, but, you know, he's throwing out the Indian accents and Jamaican accents and all this sort of stuff. But I don't think there's nothing parody about this classroom scene, where basically you've got one side of the class who looks like, you know, they're mostly the Wanderers, you know, the Italian Americans, and then you got the African Americans over on the right-hand side of the class, or from their perspective, I guess it'd be the left. And he just decides, let's write all these slurs on the board. Yep, and they fucking go for it, don't they? I mean, they don't, there's no holding back at all. And you're like, oh, fucking hell. And then it all turns to shit. And he's like, wait, stop, he's in the middle. And I'm like, where the fuck did you think this was going to go? Did you think there was any other outcome when you started this fucking exercise? And so, yeah, it sort of blew my mind a bit, that scene.
Yeah, it's just, look, the film in itself, I thoroughly enjoyed. It's just them bits you've got to sort of take note and just go past it, and you to go with the story that's being played in front of you. But yeah, I mean, I must admit, Dave, have you ever heard of elbow titting?
No, and again, you know, you feel like this generation. I mean, this is our parents' generation, isn't it? And you're like, you expect people to be all fucking respectable and stuff. And I'm like, did this happen? It just seemed fucking ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah, it does, to be honest. But I think the people who the ladies that they're using for this scene, Dave, are rather well endowed in the testicular area. And I've got to say, I'm sort of looking, I'm thinking, these women now are probably 80. But for the purpose of this movie and purpose
fucking
of
Rose at the end of Titanic.
Yeah. Fucks a whole marriage off and a fucking millionaire husband in that for a fucking jump with some fucking tow rag on the boat. But that stayed with her for fucking 50 years, apparently, Dave, at the end of Titanic. What a load of bollocks that was. But anyway, you know, it's a good movie. What's a load of shit. But yeah, elbow titting is a fucking thing. And yeah, I mean, I would never have done it, Dave, but the scene is just ridiculous, isn't it? It's just stupid. And I know that Chris Phelps would have probably kept some of them scenes on, Dave, when there was the slow-mos. Stripping what elbow titting's about. So yeah, it's bizarre because Rich is the one who does it, doesn't he? And then he gets remorseful, then, doesn't he? And he's just a Joey. But yeah, I've never known that in the UK. You'd get fucking whatever, wouldn't you? You'd get smacked in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, completely fucking wrong. But I'd say, what I would say is, I went into this and I was well, okay, 79. Say, you know, it's a gang movie in, you know, set around the same time as Warriors. So in my head, I'm kind of thinking it's going to be like the Warriors. It's going to be like gangs going against gangs and whatever. But this really is quite different, isn't it? This is more your coming of age type of story. This is more Porky's than it is Warriors.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of it's to do with like Richie in it and Joey, you know, and it's really interesting because like the dad, it's fucking, how big and muscly is his dad, Dave?
He's ripped, isn't he? He's
fucking huge, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is, and he's a nasty bastard, and he's a drunk and everything. It's like, it really is like proper, he's a nasty bastard of his time as well. And you can clearly see that he's getting fucking thingy. Joey's getting abused, isn't he? Like from his dad. He comes in, his dad's his hero, and you can see that at the start. Perry's a big guy, and he's like as big as the dad, but the dad just looked. I mean, of his era, then to see a guy over 6 foot in that shape, that's like he looks like he was a professional bodybuilder. Now, whether he was, I don't know, but he looks in such good shape, and even though he's playing a character, he's very convincing as the dad in it. He looks like he's an absolute head case, doesn't he? So yeah, very interesting dynamic that, Dave, and a very real dynamic that happened to people. He's called Emilio, isn't he, in this? But yeah, really, really bizarre dynamic. And I think you're right. I think you're totally right. It is a coming of age movie more than it is anything else.
Yeah, and I was thinking as well, and like, okay, so 1963, so 18 years prior to that would have been 1945. That's when the Second World War sort of finished. And so for us in 2025, that'd be like us going back to 2007.
Yeah.
So for Emilio, he's probably served. And he, you know, again, these are Italian Americans. So is he first generation American, or did he come over, you know, as part of the war? Or, there's a big cast here, isn't there? And I'm genuinely interested in what their sort of backstories are. And I think that's a testament to the movie as well, that they make these characters, you know, they have to share a lot of the screen time. But I am genuinely intrigued to learn more. But yeah, Emilio is fucking weird, isn't he? Because when it all kicks off later, he sort of has his heroic moment, but it's more like he's the Punisher. He just happens to be in the right place at the right time to be a bit heroic, but then he's a fucking nightmare, you know, otherwise. Definitely abusive, definitely having an affair, and just really physically abusive to Joey, who's like a half pint to everyone.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think, you know, this, you say about comparisons, as we're talking, I'm thinking, it's a little bit like Hairspray, isn't it? Where you've got the political stuff going. Obviously, that's to do with pure racism and the dancing and where they are and everything. But this has it, because you got the JFK assassination, haven't you, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You've got real life things working along as these people, you know, as these kids are going through high school and like with the girls and the parties and stuff. And I'm with you. It's really powerful stuff. You said about Tarantino before. Obviously, he must have got inspiration from this movie with the music.
Yeah.
Definitely. And he probably says that. I mean, I've never researched it, but I think what you've hit on is probably, there's an interview somewhere where he says, yeah, I loved The Wanderers for this or way it was shot or whatever, because it does feel like it. That whole scene when like Terror is looking at Perry, that's almost a bit like in Kill Bill. You know, when they're going down there's a lot of it where they're stood there, aren't they, in standoffs for ages before they get into the battles, and the little things like Tarantino touches and that. So he's influenced by them movies. I mean, he does say he loves Toy Story 3, Dave, so I don't know what his last movie is going to be that he's supposed to be making. So he loves that, apparently. He was saying the other day. But
through the power of the internet, I've been able to establish that, The Wanderers is one of his favourite films from 1979, apparently. It's a fair old list, to be fair. He watched a lot of movies, but yeah, The Warriors is on there as well.
Great films, great. Well, yeah, I think even like, you know, we're coming to sort of like the end of the movie. That scene, I know it's supposed to be having a game of American football, aren't they? So it's supposed to be the Wanderers, you know, against the Dell Bombers. They're not having a fight. It's an American football game, which is a bit different. And you talk about Warriors, like I said to you, like the Warriors, if them fucking guys, even if they were the biggest load of shithouses ever and you're having a proper fight and they couldn't fight, if you get surrounded by 6 blokes dressed in fucking baseball outfits with makeup on and fucking the caps on like the Walking Dead, I'm fucking running, Dave, and I'm not a fast runner. I'm fucking going. But like with this, it's a little bit more grounded, isn't it? But I think the American football suit sort of made for that scene. Because when the Ducky Boys, I can feel, I don't know about you, but I felt like the tension, even though it's an old movie, you say the fighting's not very good, of them surrounding him. And it was like, we're fucked here. And then you're waiting for like the cavalry to arrive. But it's the dad, even though he's horrible throughout it, Emilio, he's an ass. And he's just like, oh, Jack, everyone else is running. The American football, you're getting like different bits of dialogue, people out the gangs going, I think he needs to go and have a cup of tea. He needs to go and have me dinner or whatever. And everyone's running one way, and he's just like, oh, I've been waiting for this all my life. Sleeves.
My time to shine.
Exactly. Coat comes off of him. And what I found interesting, you're right, the fighting's bobbins, in it, but they do sort of get the better of him. What an absolute wanker he is, though. Because he punches Joey in the stomach, doesn't he?
Yeah.
His dad to say, we've laid all these people, we're injured, these people hurt and everything. Perry's getting stuck in as well, and he's a maniac. And you're like, he should be proud. No, he fucking drops him, doesn't he? Like, in the stomach, and you're like, you are an utter, see you next Tuesday. Absolute wanker. He just, I was getting PTSD watching it, Dave, but that's exactly... Yeah, I can just relate to that. So I'm like, wow, what a fucking wanker his dad is, you know. But what a great part he plays as well. His dad, like, really does play a great part in it.
Again, I'm thinking Emilio is one of those guys. He would have shone in the war, you know. He that would have been his arena, and he's just probably been traumatized or whatever after. But you know, he's still kind of his same abusive self, but in a different world, in a civilized kind of world. And there is something about this that, like say, the older generation at this time in 63 would have still had very recent memories. I mean, you'll remember stuff quite easily from 2007, I think. Was that when I joined the band, was it?
Was David? Yes.
It was coincidence there. So yeah, but I mean, there's tons of stuff that happens in this, isn't there? Like, but what I like is it's not solely about the Wanderers. I mean, you've got the Baldies. They have a fair bit of screen time as well. You know, they're not just played as these cartoon villains. You know, they go and sign up for the Marines at one point, don't they? You know, and Pee-wee gets all kind of teary at that. I'm not sure how that works. You know, it's, if you can be press ganged in that way, you know, just walk in drunk and then there you go, you've accidentally signed up for the Marines. But then I mean, there's some things about it as well where it's just fucking brutal. Where they catch the two Wanderers and then they tie the brick to the end of the string and the end of their cock. And they're like, they're just gonna throw it off the side of the bridge, so they think their cock's gonna come off, and it's all a ruse. You know, they've somehow measured this string and they know that it's gonna, you know, not rip their cock off. But yeah, I felt like there was loads packed into this, and Turkey, you know, he'd switch sides, hadn't he, from the Wanderers to go to join the Baldies as part of that whole cock rock thing. But then he gets chased down by the Ducky Boys, and you sort of alluded to it in the football match. I mean, I obviously didn't pick up on the dialogue where at the classroom they decided to have a bit of a fucking set to. I thought they were all going to meet and have a fight, not play an American football game. But all the time, you know, whenever the Ducky Boys show up, they're a different level to the other gangs, aren't they? They're just like, you know, sinister, and it almost gets horror movie, and they do end up like slashing Turkey's throat and killing him. Yeah. And so when it gets that football game at the end, and then it does get quite supernatural, doesn't it? Because it's like, oh, people seeing things or what? And then each time they look over, they've multiplied. You know, there's like one of them, then there's 6 of them, then there's, you know, it looks like it's about fucking 100. And then you have all of the different gangs gathering together, don't you, to fight the Ducky Boys. So I felt like this was just packed of really interesting characters, and they're all, you know, drawn together through one, you know, you want to be the Wanderers, you want to join the Baldies or whatever. I just found it really interesting, and it left me wanting more. And like you, I think, I don't know, when I was a young kid, I was probably into different things rather than, I mean, we do get a bit of mafia stuff in here as well, but definitely I wish I'd have watched this many years ago.
Yeah, honestly, and I think off the back of the fight, obviously, you know, Perry's with Joey, he's saying we've got to get away and all that, you know, because of his dad, after what he's just done. But then the dad breaks into Perry's apartment, and then finally we're thinking we're going to get a fucking fight here. It's going to be a bit of a fight to the death. I think Perry will get the better of him. But what thing that really stood out in the whole movie, this sounds silly, is Joey hits him over the head because he's got like, Dad's got Perry in a bit of a headlock, and they're having a bit of sex.
Well, I think got his broken arm, and he is.
Yeah, he can't really fight like how he should, so he probably evens it up a little bit. But then it's when Perry has a go at Joey, going, "Why have you done that for? It's your dad. You should have respect for someone." And I'm like, that's what years ago was just normal. Like the old saying is, obviously I was brought up Catholic, was that the Catholic blokes who work all week, go out drinking, come back, abuse a missus, put a £5 in the offertory and fucking repent all the sins and go and do it next week. And that was like that was the rotation of, like, it's like a sad running joke, unfortunately. Well, that was the thing. You'll go drop the father a £5 in the offertory fucking thing, and you repent your sins to say 2 Hail Marys. But that was accepted. That was the dad. That was the dad figure. You know, he's providing for everyone, but God forbid you get on his wrong side, or he's had a few fucking Guinnesses or drinks or whatever. And that's what I found really bizarre. Perry was still saying to him, like, you shouldn't have done that to your dad, as if like, but you know, so
it's
I thought
respect your elders thing, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, I thought that was really clever bit of dialogue, and something I can relate to, and probably most people can relate to. When you're thinking, as you get older, you go, nah, that was wrong, that, but you don't. At the time, it's what you think's just the norm, don't you, to keep you in line as a kid, where his dad's just a fucking drunk bum, isn't he, really? Like you said, living off past glories, he probably was John Rambo but because he's not in the army, he's PTSD and all that sort of thing, which they don't really go into, really. But what I mean is you can tell he's done something, and we know that from some of the diary, he's done something in the past, but he's still carrying that burden, isn't he? And he wants to fight, he wants to be like in conflict all the time, because that's what he knows, and that's why he's a physical specimen, isn't he? So I think it ends really well, and I like the fact that, because we didn't talk, I know we didn't talk about, but like the bowling scene with the gangsters, the guys and that, and then he ends up getting like a shirt, doesn't he, Richie? And I've got to say, Dave, I love the song at the end. It fits it so well when they're all singing together, aren't they, at the end?
Yeah.
You might say it's cheesy and that, but I just think it's really good. I think it's like it all comes together, and this is certainly, but without even giving the score away, this is not a Year of the Stitch Up movie at all. This is it shocks me actually how much I enjoyed watching this.
Yeah, I mean, I actually felt quite sad at the end though as well. I mean, you got all these kids, and then like you say, you got Joey, and I keep forgetting is Richie.
Richie, yeah.
For some reason, I keep forgetting. I've got a blind spot for Richie's character name. You've got them, and they're going to go off to California, and you're like, these kids who are basically in high school, you know, having the best time of their lives. Richie, I mean, could do with getting his teeth sorted out. If he was the same age today, he'd have the perfect fucking turkey teeth set, wouldn't he? But really good-looking bloke and or kid in this movie. But then, because he's had a bit, he's got Despy pregnant. He gets his fucking Hawaiian shirt. He's going to become part of the family. And that's it. His sort of life's over. But really, he's got a thing for Nina, played by Karen Allen. Like, say, the Indiana Jones is where I sort of think to when I think about her. And then you can tell his heart's really with her, and he sees, you know, you get this sort of, it's almost like a Bob Dylan lookalike cameo sort of thing, isn't it? And, you know, he sort of wants to explore that, but he's not. He's sort of trapped now. That is basically his life fucked. He's got to be, you know, he's got his girlfriend pregnant, Despy, played by Toni Kalem, who you might recognise her, Chris. She was the wife of Big Pussy in The Sopranos.
Sopranos, yes.
Yeah.
Good spot that, Dave.
So, no, she's got a very distinctive face. I was like, where do I know her from? Yeah. So that's where it was. I'm sure there's probably other Sopranos connections, to be honest. But yeah, like Richie's got his whole life ahead of him. But that's it. The best his life's going to get is probably fucking high school.
Probably. And you said the guy looked like Bob Dylan, Dave. Maybe because it was Bob Dylan.
Was it actually Bob Dylan, was it? I thought...
Dylan, yeah.
Why did they keep him in the fucking shadows then?
I don't know. Maybe because he's singing.
It's like, we're going to fucking pay for Bob Dylan to come here. I know. Let's not show him and just keep him in the shadows.
Oh, he was him. No, he definitely him. But did you not think as well that when Joey and Perry were going to California, I was thinking, oh, are we getting a sequel here? You know, like, was that what he was leading? Because it was almost where the Blues Brothers got their line from. You know, we've got so many miles and fucking full tank of gas or whatever. I was thinking, God, he sounds like the Blues Brothers. But it did feel as if there was going to be sort of a second one. I can't see that has been any sequels, but I thought, oh, maybe they're going to go and set a gang up somewhere else. Obviously, there never was. But I mean, the movie, Dave, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is unbelievable.
That doesn't surprise me. I didn't know.
So, yeah, I've looked at some of the critical stuff's really good. It's about 7 upwards, really. It's either really at the top, but it's always never less than like a 7, which is usually a good barometer on a movie. But yeah, totally enjoyed this one. Shocked me. I thought I was going to be coming in here taking the piss, throwing out some impressions, Dave, but no, I didn't.
We'll come back to the impressions. I think there's a bit of a request for more of Chris's awesome impressions.
You know what? I've just read that before.
Yeah.
Am I an actor, darling, if you don't mind?
Yeah. As Chris had acting lessons. You may be surprised to find out. No, is the answer.
Yes. I act the fuel or act like a complete plot. No, I've not had any acting lessons. I think I could have. But no, not me.
So, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So big thank you, Greg. Great pick. Honestly, I really enjoyed this. I'm absolutely kicking myself. I've never come across it before. I'd probably say I think this was better than The Warriors, Dave, if I'm being honest. The Warriors is iconic because I've watched it a few times and like played the game on the PS2 from Rockstar and that. But I really enjoyed this. Like, I wasn't expecting it. There's some proper like moments I can relate to. Like I said, the fight's not thingy, but I love the fact that Perry is just a machine. He's just basically kicking the shit out of everyone wherever he goes. He's dead cool. He's like the Fonz. He's almost a cross between the Fonz and Stallone. And I know Henry Winkler and Stallone did a movie together before like Stallone got his hairy bollocks out and stuff, but they did like a sort of 50s, 60s movie like this.
Right.
But anyway, and they're still mates today, Dave. There you go. Still friends today. They were with each other a few months ago having a coffee and that. Still mates, Henry Winkler. But anyway, nothing to do with this movie, and I'm segueing as usual. So, I think, Dave, that I'm not going to send it to Cloud City, and I'm not sending it to Hill Valley. I'm sending it to Pleasantville, because this is a great movie. Totally caught me off guard. It's worth the 1 hour 57. Don't watch the Italian dub version on YouTube like I did, because I kept thinking maybe the subtitles are not there. And then I looked up close and was like, oh yeah, it's dubbing. And I had to restart it there when I got it on Amazon. But no, cracking movie, and I'm so pleased we've watched it. And it just seemed to sit with me well. And I think this would have been one of my all-time classics if I'd have watched it when I was like 9-10 years old. So yeah, great movie. What about you, Dave?
You know, it's so much more fun when we get to this bit when we completely disagree, but I'm totally with you. I think this is a real hidden gem. I mean, I don't know why we hadn't heard about this, but I don't think many people have heard of this. I don't think it's one of those that got replayed on TV a lot, certainly in the UK. And so, yeah, just surprised. A film, it deserves more than the recognition that I think it gets. I mean, people who've watched it will probably love it. I mean, some people might not, but I imagine people who know about this movie, you know, already know that it's great. But yeah, I'm with you. This is a Pleasantville. This is a real solid movie. I will definitely watch this again. Like I say, there's so much. I've only watched it the once, but there's so much that I kind of want to know more about all the characters, and I'm sure the dialogue comes thick and fast a lot of the time, and I'm like, okay, probably missing bits there. There are things that are definitely of its time, and you just have to park that and just, okay, 79 movie. I definitely enjoyed this more than The Warriors, I have to say. And yet, you know, The Warriors is one of those films that sort of is in the public consciousness a lot more than this movie. But like I say, I think maybe because that's The Warriors is more about, you know, getting across, you know, making a journey. There's the classic bit, isn't there, with the bottles, you know, Warriors come out to play and all that. Maybe that's why, and maybe because you got the more outlandish costumes and things. But in terms of that coming of age movie, and like I say, at the end I was quite sad because they'd had this great time. It's almost like fucking Grease, Chris, you know, where they're having this great time at high school. But then that's it. It's going to be over. They're going to disband. They're going to go off. And when I said Richie before, I meant Perry. He's the fucking knucklehead, isn't he? The big lad, but he's got a heart of gold sort of thing. But, you know, him and Joey going off to California. Richie, basically, he's going to become part of the mafia by the looks of it. You know, might get whacked or a made guy. Who knows, you know, what life he's going to lead there. But, yeah, brilliant movie.
Oh, good. I'm dead pleased as well with Greg's first pick. We've just pulled it out of the bag. Great movie. And next week, Dave, it is a Patreon pick, and this is one of our newer patrons as well, who's joined up around the same time as Greg. This is Nick. So Nick's picked a movie, Dave, I've never heard of, but we must be looking at, and this is mainly all down to me, Dave, but we've probably done 6 or 7 movies now directed by the legend, the greatest stuntman ever, Mr. Hal Needham, Dave. Now, people may be shivering and going, fuck off, Chris. He's not on
Smokey and the Bandit fucking 4.
Oh, yeah. The return starring Lauren Avedon and Keith Vitale. Now they mean Business Buford. But no, this one is nothing to do with Mr. Burt Reynolds or Jerry Reed, Dave. This one is from, and it said, I've never heard of it. This is from 1986, Dave. It is a BMX movie And BMX Bandits I picked, and that's one of our most episodes, actually, isn't it? On the audio form. Definitely. One of the classics. So this one's a BMX movie. This one's called Rad. So let's get into this trailer, Dave.
They say this guy Bart Taylor's going to walk.
He says he's in hot suit somehow.
It's going to take a radical miracle to beat this guy.
That's some bit.
Are in hot pursuit.
We're here for the biggest and
I
most
got
important bicycle motocross event ever held, Hell Track.
You're going to do it? You're going to try to qualify?
I don't want to hear any more about it.
Oh my word, it's Adrian.
Wait, let's...
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
Let's tell you it's fun. This is called Off the System, though, Dave.
I'm liking the music.
Well, operate. It's it.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Yeah? Oh, this
mean,
nostalgia.
I mean, I have got no idea what this film is about.
Jones will give local fans something to cheer about.
Who's on the film with it? Is he not like Karate Kid, but with BMX bikes, is he, Dave? He looks like
very Karate Kid, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's not vegan. I've got an idea here, guys. Daniel, what's he called? Daniel
LaRusso.
Yeah. Oh, he just what's that?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Dave, I can't believe me and you haven't ever come across this.
It's just happened twice now, one after the other. How the bloody hell have we not seen The Wanderers? And this looks... I mean, I would have fucking loved this back in the day.
I love BMX biking. I loved it. And it's Mongoose racing day. My mate had a Mongoose bike. The wanker, he's a wanker. He was loaded. His dad was fucking loaded. He got everything. Every new console, and he had a Mongoose, and a bright green Mongoose, because it was the only I had a BMX bike. It was the only BMX where the brakes were inside the fucking handlebars, and he could do the spins and the bunny hops on him. It had the pegs on him, and he wouldn't let anyone ride it, the tosser. And he was still filming. Andrew Parker was called me. I'm still to this day fuming with his dad, the tosser, because we just had a shit bike. But I used to hate. He used to go, watch what I can do. And he had a skateboard, and he was good on the skateboard, because one of the lads had a skateboard ramp next door to him. But then I conquered the skateboard, Dave. And I was like not the grandmaster, but I was a lot better than him. But he was top on the BMX, and I hated that bike because it was just so jealous of it as a kid. So yeah, I'd be interested.
I mean, I did have a BMX. I can't remember what it was called. It was one of those no brands that, if Oldie was around then, it would have been in the middle aisle.
I was a Rally Burner, I think I had. I got it for Christmas one year. Me and my brother got one each. Then my younger brother got a go-kart. We loved his go-kart better because you could do wheel spins in it. So you used to have turns and everything in it. We used to fucking push each other up down the garden. I used to love that.
But before the BMX came through, I remember having a budgie. Do you remember the budgies?
No. I had a post bike, David. That was a postman. We had no fucking money. I got them off my nan and granddad. We had a fucking an ex.
This was not a rich kid's bike, Chris.
No. You probably had a budget. I've got a fucking postman's bike with a fucking tray on the front and everything that my dad had robbed from fucking post and paid in blues and took the red out of it.
Okay, now I'm looking at pictures there. It looks like fucking Victorian times.
No wonder you walk like you bow-legged, Dave. It's been stuck up your arse, I think.
Can you see it? I mean, in my memory, it was like a Harley Davidson. But unfortunately, in this HD image, it looks less like a Harley and more like that someone with a handlebar moustache would be fucking riding around.
You have the book by J.R. Hartley. Yeah, it looks like an old fucking local woman if you drive it.
The fucking state of that. I mean,
oh my word. That would have killed you. I can feel my knee. I go on a bike every day in the gym, and I know that would have fucked me up trying to get anywhere.
Why have the handles like that? It's fucking ridiculous.
That is terrible. That is brilliant also as well. Oh, that is amazing. Wow. Fuck me. Right. Anyway, thank you so much, mate, today. Brilliant. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, everyone, as always, for supporting us. If you want to email us, the VHSStrikesBack@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @VHSStrikesBack. If you do want to support us, please go over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So, a roll call of honour and a big thank you to Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Ken, Lucky Lulu Green, Herbs, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Amazing. Everyone who supports me and Dave, past and present, we do really appreciate it. So great stuff. So Dave, what have you got for us today? Because there was a hell of a soundtrack on this movie, and I don't know where you're going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat, I think, to do better.
I mean, it was a tough one. So when we did Warriors, I went with more of the kind of modern indie. So reimagined it in the, I say modern, probably about fucking 20 years ago. You know, that sort of modern indie, like when we were in the band and stuff. But I thought there was and one of my favorite bits I didn't mention actually was just where they seem to ad lib create a song. You know, with that proper ball, you know, doing the low and the harmonizing and everything. And I just really liked everything about this kind of 50s / early 60s sound. And so this is what I've gone with.
That's dirty dancing that day.
Yep.
Yep.
Saxophone popping away now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the type of guy who walks through the Bronx, making them tough, cause I hit somebody when we caught a jacking in the game, cause it's mostly just a show. We're rumble in the street cause we got nowhere to go.
I think it's a sax that gives you that dirty dance feel, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, they call us the Wanderers, Wanderers. Acting like we're legends, but we peaked at 17. And that teacher, oh, brilliant plan, right insults on the board, kids man to man. So we sprawl out slurred and really commit. It doesn't take too long before it all goes to shit. They call us the Wanderers, the Wanderers. Wow. Yeah, since Sky and John and old peaked at 17. They call us the Wanderers, the Wanderers. Wow. Acting like we're legends, but we peaked at 17. The ball is the warmest part of violence and rage. Broken boys playing out a crumbling state. The Ducky Boys perch like death in the mist. West Side Story with a kung fu twist.
So there you go, Chris.
Very
Proper
good.
sort of 50s, early 60s sound. And I just love that kind of background, the supporting vocals, background vocals. They're just, wow.
Very good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Less rapidly put together than the Patreon special that we did for covering Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which was very rapidly scrambled together. But what I will say, Chris, is how are you going to take us out today?
Well, Dave, I've been prepared for this. And you're saying about impressions, and I've not done any for a while. So there's two lines in the movie that stood out. I thought, which one? So I'm going to go with this one, Dave. So
careful. There's a few lines that stood out.
Picture the scene. Chubby Galasso, Dave. Italian mafioso, okay? So this is a line. I did like this line, actually, the movie. It's a shame to see the kids beating each other's brains out, especially when there's no financial advantage. Terrible delivery, Dave. But anyway, see you next time. Bye.
Bye now.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring the bell. All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid. Yeah, maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you in 6 months.